Greetings, greetings, greetings. I hope you're well. My name is Bong Musa Kumete. Welcome to the Grace Tutoring Program. So the purpose of this video is to revise grade 10 waves with you. I hope this video is relevant as you are preparing your June exam or your final exams. All the best as you watch the video. Remember, you can pause and do the questions, and then you can continue with the video and mark as we continue. Yeah, so I'm going to use this Microsoft whiteboard, but I prefer the black color. So let's start with question 6. The question paper we are using is from 2016. I will share the question paper as well. I will share the question paper as well. So here we have a graphical representation of a transverse wave, which is moving from left to right across the page. The wave is moving at a speed of 0.4 and has a frequency. So those are the two basic important factors. The first one is that is a transverse wave. The second one is the speed. So if it's 0.4 meters per second and the frequency is 0.5 hertz. All right, 6.1. Just answer the questions. 6.1 demands that you find the amplitude of the wave. The amplitude of the wave in this case, so we know that amplitude of the wave can be measured from the crest of the wave, from the rest position of the wave to the crest. So this is the amplitude, or you can use your trough. To measure. Basically, that's the maximum disturbance of particles on that wave. So we can see that this is 40. You can say amplitude. Let me use yellow. You can see amplitude. Amplitude is 40 centimeters, but they said they want their answer in meters. So we are going to divide by 100, which is going to give us 0.4 meters. Okay. Label the points. Label the points. TNE 6.21. Can see D is the minimum point, or minimum turning point. So it's what we call a trough. And E, check E from our east is the highest point. So it's going to be the crest of the wave. Write down 2 points that are in phase. So if points are in phase, basically they must have a distance between each other that is equal to the wavelength. So we can see now that the distance between the two crests actually equates to the what? To the wavelength, or you can measure from 0 up until 2. That distance as well equates to the wavelength. So if 2 points fit exactly this distance, it means they are in phase. Let's check between these 3 points. We can see that B is smaller, so B cannot be points that are in phase. It means that A and B are actually out of phase. So, but if we continue and go to C, we can see that from A to C is the same distance as from the two crests is the same distance from 0 to 2. So it means A and C are in phase. 6.3, it's A and C. So what if they asked points that are out of phase? So it means that the A and B were going to be out of phase. You can say B and C and other points there. How many waves are represented in the diagram? So what is a now we need to understand what is a full wave. So that distance that we drew there represents one wave. We can draw another one there. So this is the second wave, but the third one, it's a half. So it means we have the first wave, the second wave, and a half. The third one is a what? It's a half. So it means we are going to have 2.5. 2.5. 6.4, we are going to have 2.5 waves on the diagram. Calculate the wavelength of the wave. So wavelength, we know that different wavelength from the formula, the speed of a wave equals to the frequency multiplied by the wavelength. We're told that this is 0.4 and the frequency is 0.5. Lambda divided by 0.5 divided by 0.5. Now, the answer 4 divided over 5 is 8, 0.8, 0.8 meters. 6.6. Determine the distance d in the diagram. Go and check the distance d. So distance d starts from 0 up until 5 seconds. So remember, this is given in times it's given it's a time graph basically. So that distance covers 5 seconds and we know the speed of this wave. So what we can do, we can say speed is equals to distance over time, because we are assuming that this wave is moving at a uniform velocity or uniform speed. So we can say 0.4 divided by the time period, which is 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 times 0.4. You punch in your calculator. You can see that it has covered a distance of 2 meters. Let me confirm the time. Yes, the time is 5. So it has covered a distance of 2 meters. You can stop the video, make sure you have everything in your notes. We have calculated our question. Or another thing, or another way you can do this one. Let me think. Now, another way you can do it, this 6.6, just think about this. So we have 2.5 waves. Né? Each wave has a wavelength that is equals to 0.8. If we add this wavelength, we are going to have 0.8 plus 0.8. This is the first wave, full wave, second full wave. The last one will be 0.4. So what do we have? We have 8 plus 8, 16, and then plus 4, 20, giving us 2.0 meters. So this is the distance. You can do it in that manner. 6.6. All right, we can move to another question, I think. So let's check another question from the question paper. Question 7. Okay. Question 7. Another section that is relevant. Remember, this part is still all about waves, sound, and light. Né? That's how they name it. It's wave, sound, and light. I hope the question paper is visible there. Okay. Okay. Question 7. Question 7. So a band decides to do an experiment on sound during one of their practice sessions. The diagram below shows a musician playing specific notes on an electric guitar. The guitar is plugged into a speaker to amplify the sound. A microphone is connected to an oscilloscope. So an oscilloscope is an instrument that measures the frequency of waves. You can see the wavelength of the waves. It can actually display the wave for you. So it measures the frequency, so that frequency of the sound can be measured. And then we have a table here. We have different notes, note W, X, Y, and Z, that were played. Remember, when we are playing a note, the note is not dependent on anything. It's just the way the musician plays. Basically, it depends on the musician. But whatever the oscilloscope is going to display, it depends on the type of note that was played. Basically, the wavelength and frequency all depend on the type of note, but the note itself is just it's all about the skill of the musician. 7.1, write down the independent. So independent variable, it will be that variable that you have to change in order to observe the change, in order to observe the changes in whatever you are measuring. So for example, here we played different notes in order to observe the different changes in the frequency and wavelength. So in this case, independent variable It's the notes. Is the note being played? Is the note being played? Dependent variable. Remember, I said the frequency. Basically, dependent variable will be what we are measuring. What we are measuring or testing. So here we are measuring the frequency. And we are also measuring what? The wavelength. Also measuring the wavelength. All right, 7.3. So this was 7.1, this was 7.2, 7.3. Draw a graph by plotting frequency on the y-axis versus wavelength on the x-axis. Use the graph paper. So we don't have a graph paper here. We are going to plot here. We are going to say frequency. So when we are for control, you can say wavelength, meters versus frequency. So whatever is on the y-axis, no. Actually, you are supposed to say frequency versus wavelength. Just like velocity time. So this is going to be frequency. Frequency in hertz versus time. Versus wavelength, I mean. I don't know why I'm thinking about time. So the second one is the x-axis. This one will be the y-axis. Frequency. Remember to show your units. And then we're going to have 0. And let's have a wavelength in meters. Show the unit again. So wavelength, we know. Let's check. From the table, we can see that the wavelength, you can see that the wavelength is 369. That one is 27. So we have to choose a scale suitable. At least this one we can just use 3, 6, 9, and 12. Ne? And this one we are going to use 0, say 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 120. Ne? So we know 3 is 2. So 3 goes with 110. 3 goes with 110, somewhere there. That's a 110. 6 goes with 55. 6 goes with 55. Somewhere there. I remove these. Okay. And then, I don't know why today. 9 goes with 37, just above 40. Just below 40, I mean. And 12 goes with 27. So it's 37, 27, yeah. All right. Then you join your points. Okay, there is our graph. Maybe you can make it nicer as you sketch there. Yeah. Make sure you use a suitable scale though. So I'm sure your marks will come because of 1 mark for your frequency, your label, 1 mark for the x-axis, 1 mark for plotting correct points, and then 1 mark for the shape of the graph. Ne? 7.4. What is the relation? Determine the mathematical relationship between frequency and wavelength. We can see this is a decreasing function. We can say frequency and wavelength are inversely proportional. Are inversely proportional to each other. Because if we can see when the wavelength increases, frequency decreases, or when wavelength decreases, frequency increases. So that's an inverse relationship. Use the information on note X, this one, to calculate the speed of sound. Calculate the speed of sound. Sorry, it's not this one, it's the first one. Note X here. So it's going to be 6 times, because this is frequency. Let's write the formula. 7.5. It's going to be the velocity, or the speed of sound, F times lambda. The frequency is 55. And this is 6. 55 times 2 is 110. 110 plus 110, 20 plus 110, 330. 330 meters per second. That will be the speed of sound. All right. I think we are done with this question. Okay, we are going to add another question here. Question 8. We are going to check if it's still relevant. Hopefully still waves there on the question paper. Okay, yeah, it's still waves. Okay, 9 is not waves. So I'm focusing on waves today. .1 we have different types of electromagnetic radiation and they have different frequencies. So choose a frequency in column B that measures the type of electromagnetic radiation. So if you remember your EM radiation spectrum, where you have your visible light, your radio waves, your microwaves, your gamma rays, your X-rays, your ultraviolet light. I don't know if I'm missing some there. Yes, that spectrum, you will remember that it has a frequency and a wavelength scale. So the higher the frequency, the more dangerous are the waves. So we know that your ultraviolet lights, your X-rays, your gamma rays are dangerous because they have the highest frequency. All right, so 8.1, 8.1.2, and 8.1.3. So now we know that gamma rays have the highest frequency. So what we can do, ultraviolet light, also dangerous, will take C. Ultraviolet light will take C. Gamma rays will take 10 to the power 23. And then radio waves will take 10 to the power 7. Did I do that? Oh, this is A. I explained it correctly, but I chose the wrong letter. So 10 to the power 23 is in what? Is A. And then we can have B here. All right. If you're not sure, go to your EM spectrum, radiation spectrum. All right, 8.2. Write down one use of each of the following: infrared, and then you have your microwaves. Ne? Your infrared, they just want one use. And then 8.22, you have your microwaves. All right, infrared. With infrared, you can be thinking about your we have these scanners usually used at airports. Which can pick up heat, and then you have your you can use them to keep food warm as well. You can use them to keep your food warm. You can use them to in optics. You can use them in optics, or even our remote controls. Yes. Even our remote controls. How can I forget that one? All right, one we have. Let's start with our remote controls. Remote controls. Our remote controls use infrared. We have infrared scanners. Infrared scanners. infrared scanners which pick up heat. You know, if you watch movies, you'll know that there'll be guns that pick up heat. They can identify a wall, identify a dog, identify a person. Another one that we can add in optical fibers, optical fibers. Optical fibers. Infrared can also be used in thermal imaging. Thermal imaging and even medical use now. Nowadays, there's also medical use. And blood flow meters. You can monitor blood flow. Monitor blood flow. This one is very important just in case. Just in case they say medical use. They love you asking about medical uses of these waves. Ne? Then let's go to microwaves. So microwaves are maybe just remember we can cook with what? With infrared for cooking food. You can use it for cooking food. Okay, let's go to you. Remember, just needed one there. Just making sure that we are learning, not just answering that question paper. So now what about microwaves? Microwaves, our cell phones, telephones, they use microwaves. Can also have satellites. Satellites to connect with us. They're using microwaves. Can also think about microwave ovens. Also think about radar systems, ships. Can also think about radar systems. All right, continuing with our question paper. Let's grab that question paper there. Duplicate it. Take it there. All right. Eight point three. So when doctors need to establish the seriousness of a fracture, a picture is of a broken bone is taken. So this picture takes a fracture, name the type. This is straightforward, it's relevant even in our life. We call these X-rays. As you grow up, some of you are going to study radiography, you are going to specialize in X-rays. property of this type which enables it to perform this procedure. So as I said in the beginning, X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolet light, they have a high frequency. But this frequency in this case allows it to penetrate. It can penetrate through soft tissue. But not through bones. Not through bones. So which means if we are applying that radiation, it only ends up at the in the bones, making the bones more visible because it cannot go through the bones. It can only move through the soft tissue. And then the danger of overexposure to this type of radiation. So we know that X-rays, just like ultraviolet light and gamma rays, if you are overexposed to them, they can cause cancer. They can also damage your soft biological tissue or soft living tissue. All right. 8.4, we have a radio program that is being transmitted in the FM band on a wavelength of 3 meters. Calculate the energy of this radio wave. So we know that energy of a photon is equals to hc over lambda. 6,63 times 10 to the power negative, what's that constant, 34. And the speed of light, which is c, 10 times to the power 8, and we were given 3 meters. And our answer, energy of the photon, we are getting 6,63 times 10 to the power negative 26 joules of energy. Thank you. That's the end of our video. As you revise your waves, make sure you practice more. So you need to practice the different types. Don't just focus on transverse. Do the different types of the waves, from your transverse to your sound waves. You can do light as well, but light is usually part of the EM waves, electromagnetic radiation. So we'll continue with the other chapters as we go through this series of physical sciences as part of our revision. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Study hard. If you have any questions, please comment on the video. Thank you.